All right, Free Yourself Radio on Indie Gems. We are back with the one and only David here. We have all types of individuals come on this platform: entrepreneurs, artists, producers, business owners, mental health advocates. And today we have David here. He's going to talk a little bit about what he does, and about how he's impacted the community. I have actually worked with him because we work together helping the youth. And I met him through my brother's keeper, which I used to work for as well. So we're excited to have you. So how are you feeling today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm super excited to be here and just talk about mental health, talk about life, and just overcoming obstacles and how important it is to have that mental health mindset, that positivity in your life.
Awesome. So tell us, how did you get involved, and tell us about your journey and everything like that.
Well, I kind of got involved into mental health and advocacy since a young age. Being that I was born with a disability, dealing with a lot of physical, emotional, and mental obstacles. As a young kid, I always struggled with self-acceptance, accepting myself, accepting who I am, my disability, and just those around me. I would always be that one kid that has cerebral palsy, but as the years progressed, I would always think, who am I besides the one with cerebral palsy?
That part. Yeah. Being bigger and greater than a disability. And I know that you have been so brave, you work with the youth and everything like that. And, how did you start getting involved, working with kids?
Well, I began my journey working with kids since I was actually young myself. My stepmom used to work with kids, especially with those in the foster care system. And I would always be with her, in some of those days where I would go into the houses and meet some of the kids. And over the years, I made me realize that maybe this is for me. Seeing them dealing with those kind of struggles and obstacles.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity for me to make a difference, to make an impact.
I love that. That's really brave of you. And I know you said that as a kid, and as a teenager, a lot of times you'd struggle with self-esteem and things like that. So how did you get to the point where you were I'm confident and obtain really that self-assurance?
Having the proper support, so family, friends, that mentorship, especially with my stepmom, now mom, she would always encourage me to tell my peers at a young age, to explain to them, hey, I have this disability. I may look different physically from the outside and on the inside, but at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all one.
Right. I love that. So what are some things that you do to kind of promote that or to kind of advocate for that in the community?
A lot of it is social media work, doing a lot of networking with the local commissioners. Right now.
What? Local commissioners?
Yeah, right now I'm doing some work with the Commissioner Ortiz. We're doing some different projects in the community.
I love that. That's what's up. That's awesome.
We're doing a lot of the stuff with the rec centers, putting in heaters and stuff, and I come up with different ideas as far as physical activities. And on October 10th, we're hopefully having a proclamation to proclaim World Cerebral Palsy Day as a day in Orlando.
Oh, what? That's amazing. You guys have to make sure you follow. What is your social media? Tell them.
It's at David CP Fitness, so you can find me on Instagram, on Twitter, on every other major podcasting outlet out there, and I'm excited to have you follow my journey, to follow those in their own journeys, and also you can actually have access to my podcast, the Cerebral Palsy and Fitness Podcast, on that same Instagram under links.
Okay, super cool. So, what has been I really like to ask people, sometimes to be vulnerable and open up, because a lot of times social media is an illusion. It's everything's going great. It's been great. It's highlights. That's all cool.
Right.
But we're having a real talk, a real conversation. So obviously, you've had challenges. You're very brave. You've overcame a lot. You inspire me. Has there ever been a moment where you just, you just felt like giving up, or something happened, or that you just were I'm done, and I have to curl up, but you kind of had to pull back and be resilient? Can you tell us a little bit about something that you've been through that you wouldn't mind sharing to kind of help provide hope for others that might just feel like giving up?
Oh yeah, all the time, especially going up in the education system. Going through school and stuff. There were times where I feel defeated because I was physically sometimes I wasn't able to keep up with the other kids,
Mm.
and also intellectually.
Yeah.
Even though I was bright and smart, there would always be barriers in between that would stop me from achieving a certain goal. Like I remember when I went to UCF, my final year there, the capstone project, we had to write a 6-page paper. I typed with one hand, and then it was a group project, so you had 3 other people.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how college works. You're in a group setting.
Mm-hmm.
You expect for your group to
Pull their
contribute,
weight. Yeah.
and they don't. So you're stuck with all the work. And then for me, it was like I had to just hustle through it. Submit a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
There are I would get constantly rejected. Rejected back and forth, and eventually I just broke down and felt defeated.
Yeah.
And then there comes a time where you have somebody advocate for you. So, and you don't expect your own stepmom to advocate for you when you're in college.
Exactly.
But at 3 a.m, she woke up and she saw me working and she saw me frustrated. And I was like, she literally wrote an email to the professor. She'd be like, my son's trying to submit this project. He's been working his butt off.
So your mom was your advocate.
Yeah, she literally said that.
Yeah.
It's hilarious because you don't expect that.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome. So obviously you were successful and you prevailed through. That's awesome.
Right.
So what's next for you? Like, what are some next steps? So you're working with the commissioner, right?
Right.
So what are some next things that you have coming up? I know you mentioned a date earlier that you have an event or something.
I know I do have a speaking engagement event on July 4th.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
excited about
Where's that?
That'll be online.
Okay, virtual.
So it'll be-
Nice.
yeah.
So anyone can tune in live, y'all. Make sure you
Yeah.
support, okay? Yeah, definitely.
If anyone can tune in live, and like I said, I'm willing to have my inbox open for those that are interested in joining the show and just needing some advice,
Mhm.
on life and overcoming obstacles. And I feel like I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah, you are. You really are. And I appreciate you coming on here today. And, what would be like a piece of advice that you'd give a younger you?
A younger me. Wow, what a question. I love that.
Thank you.
It's if I were to give advice to my younger self, it'd be like, love yourself, appreciate yourself.
Okay.
You're valued in society. You may be dealing with these struggles in your life, especially having a disability. Go out there and own it.
Yeah.
Own it. Show people that you're unique. Show people that you love yourself, and trust me. Especially working with the youth. My first day on when I work with My Brother's Keeper, I had a student come up to me, and they'll be like, Mr. David, I'm being made fun of because I look different and I talk different in class. What do I do?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you go out there and own it. You show them who you are as a person, how you're unique. And if you do that, that's how they gravitate towards you, because once you explain who you are and bring that positivity to you, it'll gravitate towards others, and eventually it'll gravitate to you and give you a sense of appreciation of who you are.
Exactly. I love that. Yeah, I always liked seeing you work with the youth and the kids come up to you and stuff like that. That's super awesome. So we want to support you. So tune in live. Where can we tune in live on July 4th?
You can tune in anywhere, Facebook,
Okay.
on their page, and
Okay.
I'll also be posting links, so you guys
Okay.
can also check them out as well.
Perfect. And I had one last question. I wanted to know, like, who are some of your biggest inspirations? Like, who would you want to give shout outs to? Or, I know you mentioned your mom earlier as your advocate. Is there anybody, people, or just in general that you just feel like have helped shape your journey?
Well, I gotta say, alongside my mom, I gotta say my best friends, Mike and Nate out there. I gotta say Bobby, because I've known him for years, way before I started AmeriCorps. He used to work with my mom, but he's been there for me.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And just anybody out there that's been by my side.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you, and you've also supported me, because I remember the first time I met you, we were working with the kids, you were like, I'm going to stream your music and tell my friends and stuff. You always sharing my songs, so thank you for that, Appreciate you. Well, we love having you on here. We're going to support you and follow you. Make sure that everybody, that's following the support. And if there's any last words that you want to say or where we can find you.
Well, one thing I can tell you guys is never give up. Keep pushing forward. And, the one thing that I always say is, if I can overcome those obstacles, so can you.
Yes. All right. Let's go. All right. Free Yourself Radio, Indie Jams. You already know. Let's go.